Hey everybody, welcome back. It is the Fantasy Rugby Yanks. My name's Jared Beck.
I'm Ben Glauser.
Let's go. This was a weekend of wild finishes. I will say.
I don't want to talk about it.
And I know it's a sore spot for you, but it was definitely a weekend of some pretty crazy finishes.
Yeah, there were. Yes,
crazy might be the operative word.
Entertaining.
There you go.
To a point.
There's another one.
Was everything? Yeah, every match was within 7 points.
Yeah, within a score. So bonus points for all.
Yeah.
Let's drink beer because I like beer.
I like beer.
One of these days we'll do a podcast on a Monday. We've been running on Tuesdays for a little while. Obviously, make sure that you want to find us on your favorite podcast apps and where you download them all. Rate, review. Send us feedback on the email address, whatever tickles you. We want to hear from you for sure. And as always, thanks to our friends at the Rugby Magazine. Really looking forward to getting that fired back up. There is potentially an app coming out for phones, mobile app. So that'll be pretty awesome to see that go. And shit, that'll make my changing of lineups a lot quicker.
Oh man, that would be fantastic. Just
I had the mobile website pulled up on my phone automatically, but that'll just make it 10 times easier.
Yeah, I mean the mobile site it's okay on your phone, but it's not as easy. So having an app, it's the best. I won't even have to get out of bed. Like, oh shit. The match is about to start in 10 minutes. All right, well, I'll just throw my, I got my phone right here.
Here it is.
Get it fixed.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, sounds like they're cooking up some good stuff for when the Prem comes back, which will be great. Of course, we always want to thank our friend, the one and only, the Fantasy Rugby Geek. He's always churning out lots of good information. I have to check in on him and see how his draft is going. His draft season is going with this this short overlap combination here with Rugby AU and Super Rugby Aotearoa. But we'll see how that's going. But look, check him out, buy him a coffee, quote unquote, and make sure that you give him plenty of support. If there's a way that you can support him just via a review or whatever, make sure you do that too. He's worth it, I promise. And of
course, guy, that George.
Yeah, always he's a top dude. And as always, we support the Black Lives Matter movement. If we had matches, we would kneel. I can promise you that. We won't have any matches anytime soon here.
No, not anytime soon.
As Ben and I were discussing earlier, Massachusetts won't go into full contact sports, non-professionally at least, until there's a vaccine. So that's going to be a bit. So
it'll be a while for us.
Yeah, and it's the vaccine's I was just talking with some friends. The vaccine's kind of like the new iPhone. You don't want to get the new iPhone right when it drops. You want to wait for the price to go down, and you also want to wait for them to fix the screw ups that happened in there.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So yeah, it'll be a little bit before that happens. We will definitely be always supporting the Black Lives Matter. A note from the one and only Nemani Nandolo.
He's been killing it on the Twitters.
Yeah, he's all over it. He hasn't been this active on Twitter in a while. He must be bored. But it doesn't sound it, and it's like, and I think the term that somebody coined was casual racism. And I think that's pretty much what this personifies it. Where some fan commented, "Oh, can you sign somebody that whose name I can pronounce?" No, Karen. We're gonna sign whoever the hell we feel like, and that's the end. And that's the end of it. I encourage Leicester Tigers to go find the most annoying names to pronounce from now on, just to piss Karens and Toms and whoever the fuck else wants to friggin' have a piss fit about it.
Right. You're having trouble as a supporter of the Leicester Tigers.
How about that one?
So yeah, it's like the what was it? We had the Key and Peele bit.
Oh, pronouncing, yeah.
Like Aaron instead of Aaron. It's like, yeah, you freaking white people are so like, no, this is normal. You're weird. No. you're weird, they're normal. It's not
deal with it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's been tons of players in all sorts of sports. You're like, I really don't know how to pronounce that. That's okay.
So just learn it.
Right. Nawakatanawasi. That's not that fucking hard. Yeah. It's intimidating.
You look at it but take a shot, man. Like,
right.
Ben and I will obviously cop to when we always fuck somebody's name pronunciation up, and they could be anywhere between Welsh and Fijian. It doesn't matter. Right. We could cock it up easily, but at least we take a swing and apologize if we completely screw it up. I had to pronounce. I was doing a quick presentation the other day, and I had to pronounce Hungarian psychologist, I think, and that was not a fun name to try and not fuck up. So
I had to do the same thing. Was given a Polish for a person of Polish.
Just as bad,
And I asked him specifically because it's somebody who I hadn't worked directly with. I just
you want to ask him,
how do I pronounce your name? And he's like, this is how you pronounce it, but don't try if you don't really want. He's like, everybody butchers it. I won't take it personally. It's like, okay, that's fine.
Ask, ask and try and be nice about it. Don't just be like, I can't pronounce this person's name because I don't want to put brain power into it. Well, fuck you. Don't fucking support the team. How's that? Just silly stuff out there.
Yeah.
So and the player we're talking about obviously is Murray Valo, who signed for Leicester. And
that's such an easy name to say, Murray Valo. How hard is that?
Yeah. We're going to take you back to grade school, and we're going to talk about how you pronounce syllables. Mm-hmm. You put them all together, and they make a word. And there you go.
Some of them are the exact same thing, like Murray. You don't even have to worry about.
You don't have to worry about twice.
Valo. That's really easy.
It's just baffling. It's that people out here just shaking my head. Next level, dude. That's all I know.
It is. It's colonialist. Really, that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we need to come correct you. So no, that's not.
Nope. This Murray Valo, do not change. Do not do a damn thing about it. Fuck those people. That's their problem, not yours.
Right.
And I'm sure he wouldn't. But that's just ridiculous, guys. Come on, clean it the fuck up. Player movement. Did this go under the radar and we didn't talk about it, or did we talk about it only in brief? But TT Lamasatelli playing for Montpellier. I don't remember talking about this. If we did,
I think we did. I think we kind of glossed over because it was one of those. He's international and he's not. He has ties to Saracens and that are tight.
And I mean, I think he's an academy product, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. So there's it's still he's it's still, he needs to do something good for his career, and they'll be fine without him.
Yeah,
and I don't know if I can't remember if it's a loan or a full.
I think it's a 2-year move. So
okay, that's fair.
Yeah, and this may have been part of the initial exodus of the Saracens when the hammer dropped.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking back at the articles now, and that looked like that dropped back in February. So we may have talked about it then.
Yeah. So, and if we did, TT's moving to Montpellier.
Right.
Shocker. Cecino signing for the Saracens.
The friggin' Pumas just completely fell apart.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know.
The Jaguares.
The Jaguares, close enough.
Yeah, same thing, right?
Step one. Yeah, it's mostly the same, right? They did because it's going to be something we talk about in a second. But yeah, that's I mean, hey, I'll take Cecino if it's going to be a byproduct of it. He's a fantastic player.
Who else left? Like a bunch of them just signed. Leicester signed Moroni, I think.
Yes, I believe so. That was the one. I think Delgui signed somewhere. There's a lot of guys that are getting thrown back into pretty much Europe.
And the what was it? Exeter signed Cordero's brother.
Yeah, what a cheeky announcement that was. We signed a guy named Cordero, and then what was it, an hour later? Nope, not that one.
Right.
I was like, you sly little shits.
So all those, all the Argentinian players are because Creevy signed elsewhere too, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember where, but I do remember seeing that.
And he's at the end of his career, so good for him, and good for all of them. really. I mean, it's not good for Argentina, and like you said, we'll get to that later. But these, especially for an athlete, you only have a limited amount of time to make some money, and if you can,
Creevy's coming to the end of that, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Creevy. This like his last contract essentially, and
likely
some of these other guys like.
Yeah. Oh, some of these guys are very young and probably could see Montoya. Where Montoya landed somewhere good too. I don't remember where it was exactly, but yeah. So all these guys, there's a lot of names that, and we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about what's going on with the Jaguars. But related note, we could have New Zealand potentially hosting the TRC. Obviously, those of you that don't know, New Zealand is pretty much just like, there's no restrictions outside of don't fucking leave the country. That's it. Like
in
right
2
now,
weeks when you come back in.
Yeah, and if you do, you got to wait for a little while when you come back. So it's and with that, obviously, it presents an opportunity to potentially, host this because if they want to play it, this might be the way to go. And it's you can, in this situation, if you're crying foul about them having all home games, you're really not paying attention to what's going on in the universe at this point. Let's be real. It's just not something feasible. Yes, Rugby AU could host a game or two if they want to. Obviously, they're not going to go to Victoria. But yeah, really, if you want to be smart about this and just try and cut down the spread and get these played, this is probably going to be the move. Although I will say, I don't think New Zealand's taking the NFL anytime soon.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, can we just have New Zealand host all professional sports for the near future? And we could just send the NFL there.
They don't want us, man. They do not want us. Like the NFL's like, oh, maybe we could do this, and I'm like, oh, I think the Kiwis don't want us, so that's not going to happen. Keep dreaming.
The Outback's good for the NFL. Throw them out there. Bake them in the heat.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord. These guys think they've seen heat. They haven't seen freaking Outback. My goodness. No way, man. So it's a way to get it played, and you got it.
Yeah, that's worth it ultimately, and.
So if the TRC goes off, it'll be interesting because obviously players on the Springboks and the Pumas will not have played a whole lot. Anybody outside of Rugby Australia will that's not in the Super Rugby competition. Good luck getting them up to speed as well.
Yeah,
so
like we saw what it was like in the Super Rugby. AU and Aotearoa round 1 and even round 2.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't
the rust
wasn't all
real.
That impressive.
The rust is real, man. The rust is real.
So shit, could you imagine some of those teams going up against the All Blacks right now? No, it wouldn't be fair.
Please. Yeah, so
it wouldn't be safe.
It might get played, but it might be a shit show at the same breath. So we'll see. But speaking of the Super Rugby competitions, I don't know if this is official or if this is just a report, but we know it seems the Jaguares have been disbanded, but also South Africa could be on the outs with Super Rugby as well. So those teams could be looking for a home in some sort of huge pro rugby, with the Irish League. So it's Pro 14 right now. It could balloon up to 16.
Wow.
So, well, I don't know how I feel about that personally. There's no high functioning league in rugby right now that's bigger than 14, and it's Pro 14 and Top 14 in France that have that distinction right now. Super Rugby had a lot of teams, but they had a lot of problems that went with it as well. So that's why they started to cut down on teams. Obviously, they were trying to get themselves back down to 14, I believe. Once the Sunwolves left, I think it was going to be 14. So that's I don't know how
cutting a little bit more than that then.
Yeah. So now we're going down to more. So it could be just an outright trans-Tasman competition. Although I will say the ideas that are coming off this also might include a Pacific Nations team of some sort.
That would be good.
Somewhere in either Samoa or Fiji. I think that would be great to give the likes of those players a professional team to shoot for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not in New Zealand or Australia either, because then they lose. Then they lose players to there because they live there, they get their citizenship there, and then it's like, oh, I can play here too. Okay, I want to play internationally here too. And you have the guys that really they don't want to do that. They want to play for their home country, and to them, I credit them tremendously. But not all of the guys want to do that because the paycheck's a little bit better for the likes of the Wallabies and the All Blacks. So
yeah. But maybe if you can grow some, like start with a professional team, and maybe that, because again, there's these at least the mature leagues are a little bit more socialist with how they dole out the league earned money and whatnot. So maybe that would help develop like that, build up Samoa, Fiji, these island nations that are like, they're struggling, and like really the only difference between them and being where they are, which is tier
1B
ish,
and
like New Zealand it's economics, as you said, it's a more opportunity, better for the players to be there than in their home country, and that's not right. If we can fix that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
and it would be nice to see New Zealand have to compete with their own players.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they have the talent.
Oh, sure, of course they do.
Real about this, they know they can find their talent. They've always been able to. So make no mistake about it. And you'd still see a little bit of a trickle over from the island countries as well.
Oh, of course you'd still see it, but it would be less.
Yeah, the tide would be stemmed. Yep, yeah. I agree. And They've hosted some matches in Suva, and they've done well. So I think it's there. I think it requires somebody to put the time, the effort, and a little bit of change into it. And when I say change, I mean pocket change into it, and you could see a really good product out of that team. I mean, shit, imagine guys that get to train with each other all the time from these countries, and we know the spectaculars that they can do, the likes of a Nakarawa, a Pasila Yato, Murray Marivalo, as we've seen them, these guys they just do some amazing things. What the hell's the guy's name from Bristol? Some Samoan, Leua. There's the one.
Oh yeah, Alapati.
Yeah, Alapati Leua. The likes of that just doing some really awesome things, and doing them as somebody that plays with each other. I think I know which team would lead the competition in offloads.
Right.
Just gonna throw that out there. Just a thought. So yeah, it'll be it would be great if this is what this leads to. I'd hate to see the Argentinian team go down and not have something else developing another rugby nation go into its place. So hopefully that's what happens.
Because I feel like Argentina is fairly well stocked with talent.
I think we've seen that,
on the international level. So losing some of these players, if that affects their international status or not, I'm guessing it won't.
Probably not.
But losing a Super League team anyway, I don't know that will affect their product at this point. They're a pretty well established nation, I think, as far as a top set of rugby. They're just gonna have to maintain it without the Super League team.
Yeah, they have. They I mean, as we saw last year with the team that got to the final for Super Rugby, they definitely have some talent, and they lift guys. I mean, Argentina left guys home they probably shouldn't have at the World Cup, and it does speak a little bit to what they had in the locker, that they were willing to do that. Was it the smartest thing? Maybe not, TBD. But as far as their young talent, they definitely have some. So hopefully that pipeline can keep going even without a Super League team for at least in the near future. I'm sure somebody will try something else soon. But for now, no Argentina. So with that, how about we go to Australia? Super Rugby AU, round 3. I'll just read off the pair of scores here. Reds 31, Force 24, and Waratahs 23, Brumbies 24. And that is, both these matches were pretty darn good. I mean, props to the Force. Let's talk about the Reds and the Force. Let's go over to Suncorp. Props to the Force. They backed up last week with another one this week. Yes, they did. No, they didn't win, but man, totally deserved to be in that game.
Right. They were gassed about 50 minutes in, so you knew it wasn't. It probably wasn't going to work out well for them. But
correct.
But they played. They're it's their fitness that ended up killing them in the match. But they played like monsters. They played so well.
Mm-hmm.
We had a US player, Brocky, although they
he sold himself out.
Announced him as an American right as he threw a pass into touch. And so it was like, oh, thanks. Don't remind him, please.
But to his credit, he was reading the bounces really well and set up a couple of tries because of it. Like, he was joining on the spot. I think it was a knock-on that went right into his hands that led to their I believe it was their opening try. And I was just like, wow, he was right on top. And he did it again.
He did the second. Yeah. He cleaned up a John Lance chip. And passed it out for, 2 passes to the try, but still,
yeah,
he was instrumental in both their opening tries. So, definitely, when they weren't reminding him that he was supposed to fuck up, he did a really good
he job. Did fine. Yeah, he had the one. I think he had the one bit of sloppy defense that cost them dearly. But I did hear on the broadcast, and this is news to me, and not everything's that much news to me when it comes to this stuff lately. At least I try not to make it that way. The Force are only used to playing 70-minute games.
Yeah.
In that competition that they've been playing in, I didn't know that. That was a new one on me. So that could explain them being a little gassed.
I heard that too, and I was just like, that's weird. Yeah, that's like 15 minutes to go at that point. No, you still got more to go. You still got 25. Yeah. Oh, we had Bum.
We did. We had a Salakai Loto bum.
Yep.
That's a big bum.
He was doing some great shit. He had knocked it on. He was still gathering it back to make sure that his team still got it.
Yep, good concentration on that one.
Defender just pantsed him, and he said, "Okay, you can have my pants. I got the ball." It popped it out for the try. No big deal.
Yeah, shifted it to O'Connor, and O'Connor does what he does best and find guys open in space. I do love I have to say, and even John and Lance, I love the attacking 10s that we're seeing in Australia rugby. We see a lot of these. All 4 of the 10s that have been playing for their teams in this competition have been very downhill, and I do like that. It definitely can get a little bit drab with the 10s that just sit back and hoof it every time. That has its place, but man, this is just entertainment right here. That's all it is.
And I will say that the 50-22 rule is not impacting the game.
Not yet. No, not terribly. I mean, you have a couple of brain, moments where guys go, oh, shit, I was supposed to gather that, wasn't I?
Right.
So,
but some, there was the one in this match. O'Connor had a really good one off of a restart, and Tupou finished that one with a try off the maul.
Yeah,
and then the other match, I know we're not there yet, but there was a 50-22 there that I think it was a bad throw, and it ended up the defense was able to clear off a scrum or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's not changing the match much, other than making it. I think at times more interesting. It's kind of fun. It's still very novel, but let's see if they use it more to.
We'll see. We got a few more weeks in this competition, so hopefully how it will be used will come more to fruition as the clock goes. Somebody's going to have to remember that Daigneault loves to step back inside, because he's done it 3 times now, and he's putting himself over the whitewash every time. So every time Daigneault gets the ball on the wing, just remember he wants to cut back. Don't let him, and see if you can force him into touch. Although maybe people know that now, and he's still able to do it, in which case that's pretty fucking impressive. So,
yeah, I mean, was that the one where Hamish Stewart gave him a fucking sweet little pass? Real nice quick transfer.
That
got him to cut back, or was that his?
No, that was. I think that was Paisami that went off for that. That went off for that scamper. No, there was another one, but yeah. In either case, I do remember distinctly noting that Daigneault stepped off his wing back inside, and found pay dirt. So just remember that he's okay with stepping back inside, and he's probably going to look to do it. So note to all the Australian defenses out there now. But yeah, again,
eventually Liam Wright is going to get it right also.
Yeah.
Eventually he'll get it right and get the try that he so richly deserves on the goal line. when it's the other team's
He'll be there one day. He'll be there one day.
Keep reaching for that rainbow.
Yeah,
just so close.
Just there. Just there.
He did everything right. He was onside. Everything was fine. This time it was the scrum half who just touched it down. So
yeah,
like it still worked out pretty well for the team, but still it's one of those like it's frustration. That's twice now where you almost had a try. Like
just so close. So close, man. And you know, I said it before, you know, the force backing it up. They are definitely not going easily. You know, the intercept try was super gamble. He's like, I have two options here. Either I'm going to get fucked on defense, or I'm just going to go for this thing and go for the home run. And he swung hard and he hit. So that was impressive. But yeah, so this team is not a pushover.
Oh no, and their reserves were doing work too. So like you'd see as soon as a new reserve came in, you'd see a high teens, low 20s number everywhere. You're like, okay, cool. Like that they're not just coming in and continuing effort. They're raising the game of everyone. So
yep, reserve hooker got over the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. Give the force loads of credit. They're outside their comfort zone here for sure, but they are not going down without a fight. They are fighting every which way. So it's impressive to see, and they'll finally get a home match this weekend. So hopefully they can step up. Although their opponent's less than ideal, but that's all right. Speaking of their opponents, Waratahs and Brumbies. Waratahs 23, Brumbies 24. Just quick note: Lalesio left this game early. And man, did it you know, his replacement played well, but man, that's just such a loss. He's been in great form for this Brumbies team.
And
I was so worried.
He's likely done for the majority of the competition.
I would say so. That hammy looked pretty nasty.
And so it's weird. You see, you know, we talk about, well, you and I talk about non-contact injuries, and you know that it's bad when you see a guy just go down not being touched. In this case, Lalesio was being tackled and he popped a hamstring, and it's like the opposite. Like that means that's bad, because that's not like you're running an open field and it just, you know, it gets sniped.
Seen that before. That's painful to look at.
It's painful, but that could be like a 2-week injury,
right?
You know, this when you're getting tackled and then that's when you pull something. He was fine going into the contact. It was coming out of it. So that's probably not going to be fun for a while. Yeah,
the hamstring getting sniped reminds me of, I think it was Charlie Sharples probably about 4 or 5 years ago. He was running in an open field try and just almost stopped dead because he pulled something, but he got over the line. But man, was it painful to watch. I was like, ooh, that is not a good thing, but he is so close to the line. Get over. Oh, poor guy. I was like, ooh, he's definitely done, but at least he got the job done. But damn. That's not a good thing. Those hammies are nasty, man.
So I guess here's my question, though, outside of that. Was it just the Muirhead card that kept the Taz in it, really?
I don't know. But they scored
14 points in that 10 minutes.
Right.
And they only scored 23 for the match.
So they scored, and I mean they did not start off well with Cusack getting the lucky try. Will Harrison knocking it on, and then Cusack just being Johnny on the spot.
Yeah, that was good work.
Good on Cusack. That's hard work and a little bit of luck. That's all it is. Sometimes that's all you can ask for.
Muirhead. Let's be fair. Put pressure on Harrison.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. You got to, both of them got to be there to make that happen. But yeah, and you know they had a couple. The Taz had a couple of kicks, and then the card.
Oh, that James Ram try. That was because Muirhead wasn't there. He was off. So like that try might not happen without the card. But of course, I mean, shit. That's the Brumbies' fault for not
not compensating for it. Come on, man. Like, and they were calling for it wide too the whole time.
Yeah.
And Harrison realized it and said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
And Ram made it happen. So
I'm happy for Ram. I really wanted to see. I want to see him do well.
Agreed. Yeah, I think he's a talent. I think he has a little bit of developing to do, but man, he could be something special. He seems to have a nose for just putting his ears back and flying, which is what you want from some of your wingers. So, just Johnny on the spot for everybody. How about the Horton try? He just snuck around the side there. I like it.
Yeah. No, I love it because wait, hold on. I'm gonna make sure I'm talking about the right one. Is that the one
that came from the scrum half when he was tied up?
Yeah. So like that was beautiful. The hooker just pops around. I'm like, all right, well, look, you're gonna hold him in. There's like a switch and replace and of responsibilities, and nobody decided to pinch down. So it's like, okay, everybody whoever was that first defender thought, oh, the scrum half's in. That means it's going to be passed out. Nope.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oops, Daisy. Good on him. First start, first try.
Yeah.
Good on the boy.
And then we saw Fines do something not exactly similar, but a nice little like taxi line out wide until suddenly there was a gap appeared.
Yeah, it was. Man, this is a fixture that the Waratahs haven't figured out a way to win in a long time, and it looked like they were gonna finally get it done. But the Brumby's Brumby and Fines he found it. He it was nobody taking responsibility for him as the runner, and that's what just open. If your responsibility, nobody's responsibility. So he's like, hey, awesome, thanks guys, try. And that would obviously end up being the winner. Mm-hmm. So it was and it was funny that they mentioned it because I was actually thinking it. If anybody in Australia, anybody that plays number 2 and wears the number 2 jersey can learn how to fucking throw a line out, they will be a Wallaby because, we're in week 3 and we saw it in Aotearoa, so I won't completely shit on him. But yeah, we're definitely seeing a big issue with line out throws, and it's a little bit on. It's always it always looks like it's the hooker, but you have to give a little bit of the blame to the jumpers and the lineout callers because they're supposed to be operating this shit.
Yeah. So and it's not so much for the lost lineouts, but there's too many overthrows, which is always the hooker's fault. Especially when you throw to the back because there's no timing there. You just fucking overthrew it. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean sometimes they do it intentionally. No, these are bad. And then not straights. We're seeing some bad not straight calls, like at the level we coach and play at type bad throws. Yeah. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. You over in Australia should be doing better than, some
club
league over in the US.
Some club helmet team in the US. Yeah, absolutely. Right. I agree.
So it's frankly embarrassing. Like these are professionals. They should be able to throw. And you know what? And I guess it's not the same because if you want to find someone on a football team, who knows how to throw a football, can probably launch it, talk to one of the offensive linemen. One of them can fucking chuck it. So like I've known plenty of props who can throw in. It just doesn't seem to be a thing over there. But maybe they should start thinking about it because if your hookers can't throw,
you got to find somebody that can. You want to complete those lineouts, man. They're valuable.
Right. It's too valuable to have it be that shitty. Mm-hmm. Whether it's improving the hookers' throws or replacing that responsibility, you got to do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Brumbies won it, not quite at the death, but damn close. 23-24 over the Waratahs. Brumbies remain in the race for first place here with the Reds. Reds are actually in front by the tally of the table so far, but still darn good stuff from them. And we got game on in down under first. Especially I want to see this Reds Brumbies game happen in a couple weeks here. It'll be very interesting. Let's go a little further east and go over to Aotearoa. Leading off with Canes versus Blues. No Hoskins to Tutu in this match. Very, very strange call from
and no
Leon
Clark
McDonald.
either, right?
Yeah. Yes. No Caleb Clark. So very, very, very peculiar calls here from Leon McDonald. I don't know if this is a reaction from last week. I doubt that. Certainly not with Satutu. Jeez. He's been the toast of the town lately, and to remove him seems a wee bit of a head scratcher. But who knows? So let's talk about this man, because he's going to be the obvious one that we need to talk about in this match. Lamape, apparently, I don't know if the local papers have been doing this, or it's been Twitter, or just the local media in general have been letting him have it for reasons X, Y, and Z. I have no idea. But he felt disrespected this game, and the Blues paid for it because he was mean. He was mean to everybody out there, especially poor Terry Black, who was on the wrong end of that first try. I was screaming at the TV. I'm like, cut in, thinking like, I don't want him to get knocked in the touch or something like that. He says, nope, I am going to bull this guy. Oh, my God. He just completely cracked poor Terry Black. Just like, I was like, that was just not nice. He chose to do that.
I mean, and he did that after he skinned Bowden
Barrett, yeah.
He didn't just beat him. He's like, fuck you, I'm gone.
He just left him in the dust.
Full pace into Aotearoa Black. Like,
poor guy. Ouchtown population, Mr. Aotearoa Black. My God.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was great.
If the New Zealand All Blacks played this year and Nana Lamape is not in that squad, please somebody go take the elevator all the way down. Make sure hell hasn't frozen over, because what the shit? Like, good Lord. I am going to be so baffled as to how this happens. Man, I mean, goes without saying, man of the match. He did it everywhere. He didn't just do it on offense. He did it on defense. He did his kick chase. We saw the kick chase that he had that really kind of sparked a little bit of a drive for them. Yeah, just a lot of good stuff coming from the man in the middle for the Hurricanes. People are kind of making this an issue, and I don't know why the fuck they're doing it. But the booze for Bowden Barrett. I mean, it's not to shit on him. It's all in good fun. Chill out.
You can tell when you should. Okay, actually, you can. You should be able to tell when boos are in good faith and are just to take the piss out of someone. That's all.
Yeah.
Like there's a guy who played for the Philadelphia Phillies and was okay, nothing great, but put up some good numbers. He was on the team that won the World Series in 2008. And I think either that offseason or the next offseason, or maybe, I think it was only 2 years later or so, he signs with the Washington Nationals for a huge deal.
Big deal.
And every time he came back to the Phillies, he got booed. And it wasn't like you'll
know when they hate you. You'll know when they hate you.
This was you left for the money, fuck you. And he's like, yeah, I left for the money. Okay. So it's like, yeah, okay, all right, we're good. But then for the rest of his career, he always got at least one good boo every time he made an appearance in Philadelphia. So it's getting good fun. You still love the guy and wish him well, but at the same time, you gotta give him a little shit for leaving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally get it.
It's the rules. It's in the book.
It happens, man. Yeah, I mean, and he backed it up. Bowden Barrett did with an early try. Little dummy TJ went and bit. Bad TJ. TJ went and bit, and that's the wrong guy to leave alone, because obviously Barrett's one of the fastest guys in New Zealand. So, oops, oops, daisy. Overall, though, in that first half, for me, and they said it was a fair reflection, I'm not sure that was accurate. I feel like the Blues might have been a little lucky to be tied going into the half. They got one off TJ just not, getting a little selfish and getting a little greedy. And really, that's all they got out of that half.
I feel like they had some. The Canes had some composure problems. For some reason, they were having a little bit of discipline issues. They were having just Yeah, just some stupid shit, like you said. I was thinking Dane Cole starting shit off a mall, like just little things here and there. I think they sorted that out at halftime though. It's one of these like, if you guys pull your heads out of your asses, you're gonna win this match, and they did.
Yeah, and Umaga Jensen definitely thrived off of Laumape, obviously being the very focal point of a lot of people's worries when it came to the Hurricanes backline, and he thrived. He was definitely cutting these guys up along, and really it was basically the two guys that played inside and outside of Garden Bishop played a great game, I thought. When he got pulled, I was really scratching my head like, no, this is the time to ride him. He's playing well. He's getting on the ball. He's hitting the line hard. He looked very creative in his role. So he's growing before our eyes. I will say that for sure. Garden Bishop, and that's a hell of a pair of boots to fill too. So all the credit in the world to the kid. He's doing a great job so far. There was, and Blues definitely fought like hell. But man, that was a great try between Coles and TJ. What a line! What good line, good ball. You gotta throw the right pass to get there, and TJ did, and Coles knew what he was doing. So it was a good job by the two co-captains. But
especially it was interesting. Dane Coles doing that because he's usually doing his workout on the wing. So it's good to see, for those, if you're throwing that 1-3-3-1 up like a lot of these teams do, you have your wing forward out there, and Coles is one of he's the guy on one of the wings for the Canes, but like just as you want your wing to come in and take that line, that was Colesy running that weak side wing line up the middle of the defense, and they didn't account for him. And you don't expect, and I think that's one of those, you don't expect to see Dane Coles there because you're so used to him again out in the wing.
Maybe not.
And all of a sudden it's like, all right, we have all these forwards to look out for, and fuck, here comes Dane Cole sneaking
through. Where'd you come from?
Yeah. so good, excellent job by him, and I don't think they were ready for it.
Yeah, no, it was he was definitely caught them napping a little bit on that one for sure. There was a good bit of honesty, and we'll talk about it at the end. The try that won it, but quite a bit honest. And by the way, I still think O'Keefe is very overrated at this point. I don't think he had a great game this game either. So he's over 3.
He was still by far the best referee in New Zealand this week,
which is a terrifying thought. But here's the thing that I appreciate at the end from Tui Pilotu, and he was very blatant, very honest when asked about his team's performance, and he said we didn't turn up. And I appreciate that so much. There's so much sugarcoating that goes on in sports in general, really. But, and rugby has been known for a while to be pretty honest when it comes to stuff like this. And I think it started to go the way of, pro sports and the way they sugarcoat it. Really, and it's not Tui Pilotu saying – you guys sucked. It's what he's saying is I expect better out of you guys. This is a very good Blues team, regardless of who's not in the team. Kira Ioane got his due and got himself over as well, along with Papa Lee. So it's not like their back row didn't perform even without Satutu. But and when you can be that honest with your team, it's a good thing. And if you go about it the right way, you don't call guys out individually and say they were garbage. You do that in the locker room. That's one thing. And that's one thing that I don't think a lot of sports get right, where they call each other out in the media. Like, no. Sort that shit out in the locker room. Because if you do that, and I can think of one particular person here in NFL football, called out his offensive line for being shit. And if you do that to me and I'm an offensive lineman, you better believe I'm going to let the next guy that comes at you go all out so you get creamed. But yeah, you don't do that. You be honest with your team's performance and say, hey, this wasn't good enough. We didn't turn up. We made a lot of mistakes today. So let's fix it. But yeah, just be very honest and do it. Point it at the team. Don't point it at the coaches. Don't point it at your teammates individually. Just say as a team, we fucked it up. And I really appreciated that from Tui Pilotu. I just hope more sports can take that and use it and use that model, because I would hope that, we would do that as, a team I play on. and also as the kids that I coach. That's something that I would definitely aspire any team, especially in rugby, to do. So I appreciate that a lot from Patrick Tuipula too. But there was that 15-man maul that made that all possible. I'm not going to skip over that. It seemed like a 15-man maul at least.
I think there were like at least one or two guys not in it, but yeah, pretty much.
Everybody in. Finally, Amua is the one that comes up with it. Rightly so. He's played very well since with the Hurricanes. Obviously being a debutante to Dane Coles, and then Jordy Barrett does what his brother could not and hits the winning kick. Man, I want to know what that conversation was like afterward. What happened, big brother? What happened?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Especially after, because Jordy dunked one early.
He did,
and then it ended up that sequence ended up with a Papali'i try. So yeah, there's he had to kind of pick himself up, otherwise he was going to get it himself. It was obviously there was going to be a little Barrett on Barrett shit talking afterwards. So
yeah, and I think at halftime they showed the two of them running in, having a good chat, not a spirited chat either, just having a casual conversation. Obviously, played together as early as this past fall when they were playing together at the World Cup. So, but yeah, just a very casual conversation. I'm sure it was like something that they usually have at dinner. I don't know. Didn't look like it was anything out of the ordinary. Really, they were just having their regular conversation, just wearing different color uniforms this time. That's all. So yeah, the Hurricanes pull off what I think most people will tout as the upset, considering how good the Blues have been, minus last week and this the week before here. So yeah, I'll take it. I'm okay with being wrong on that one. I did pick the Blues, but I'll take it. I don't care. Yeah, this week will be different. So close your eyes and just take your headphones off here for a second, Ben. Chiefs Highlanders 31-33. Yeah. I mean, let's talk about the good part, because the good part was Bashir getting his due, and the Chiefs come back red hot.
Yeah, ridiculous Bashir this match.
Yeah, he was great.
He starts it off with the try. But how many times did he win it at the end?
Yeah, he won at least 2 pens near the end. Yeah, at least 2 or 3.
Right. And he had an interception too. Like he did all sorts of stuff. But yeah, there was a lot of good stuff. This was outside of a couple things, this was an amazing rugby match between two very good sides.
Right.
As much as I've shit on him a little bit, and he had a couple of he had a couple of fuck ups here or there, but Stoakula had a really good match, running in space. It's one of those. He still does too many things where he runs into double tackles when he doesn't need to, and then the pick off the scrum. I think he just got his left and right mixed up. Little things like that, but. He did it. He had a good match in the loose. That was one of those. Okay, that's the Stoakula we need to see a lot more often.
Agreed. No Tupaia for this one.
He played in the. He did come in at the end. He was there to help him lose it. I don't think they scored a point after he came in. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm mad at 3 people. as they said in our little prep.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Paul Williams is one of them. Referee.
Yes.
Definitely. By the way, that's the referee.
I couldn't remember. No, the referee was Mike Frazier.
Was that Frazier? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it was Frazier.
Even worse. Paul.
That's why I was confused. I was like, no, I don't think it was Paul. No, it was Mike.
No,
Frazier.
You're right. You're right. My fault. All right. So Frazier. Potentially the touch judge that was sitting right there.
No.
Okay. Geez, I don't know. Who else are you upset at Gatlin?
No. I thought he did fine, because again, you talk about this was the opposite of Warren Ball. In fact, they should have been playing Warren Ball for the last 30 minutes of the match. They didn't. But that because of that, I'm mad at Damian McKenzie.
Mac, yeah.
Super pissed at him for a couple. He hoofs it down the middle. Like, so the one thing that was working out for the Highlanders, they couldn't really gain much in open play. What they were able to do well was in unstructured play. And DMAC keeps kicking it down the middle of the fucking field to them, and they keep running it in for fucking tries. And it's like, at some point, you know, they had a scrum inside their own 22 and kicked a touch, you know, make them earn it. And instead he kicks it. Yeah. He hoofs up the middle of the field. And that's the one that, the third person I'm mad at.
Aaron Smith.
Yeah. Fuck Aaron Smith this match. I mean, no. Seriously. Excellent match. He played really, really well, but it pissed me off. I'm mad at him.
Well, you know, and really at the end, you know, so and he made the tackle on the initial, the guy that was going for the line. But when he was chasing when Brad Weber was chasing Aaron Smith, what he should have done is tackled Aaron Smith, even though he got rid of the ball, and nobody would have said shit had he. And I think somebody else might have been able to get a hold of the guy that eventually got the ball, because then he doesn't tackle
take him out of the play.
Doesn't even take him out, and he just, you know, shit. You got to at least give him a good shove, and he comes right back in, and he's the one that dives over the line. Right. I mean, this is the Aaron Smith that the Highlanders need in order to see any sort of progress, and this is the Highlanders. This is the Aaron Smith that the All Blacks really need if they're going to have, you know, I'm going to assume that Aaron Smith's going to at least try and ride it out till 2023. But this is the definitely type of stuff that Aaron Smith needs to do in order to maintain his spot.
Sorry, I was reading some of my notes and getting more pissed at McKenzie. And the time that he missed Aaron Smith there. He missed who is it? Hunt. You know, he ran past Hunt to go cover Gregory, and has Gregory done
that's not the guy I'm covering
fucking thing this season? No. So make him make the play, like make Hunt throw the pass and make Gregory catch it, because he wasn't so hot at that. Although he did have a great take, I'll give him that at one point in the match. But he's make him do something. It's like you're acting like he's there. I would be, if I was Gatland, I would have been telling my players, you see that Gregory kid? He doesn't exist. There's nobody in that 14 jersey or whatever jersey he's wearing. Fucking, you know, hoof it at him.
Like you whirl him in this chat.
If he's in position to run with it, let him. You know, like take out Hunt, make Gregory do something for a change.
Make him beat you. Yeah, because I mean, at one point, I will say this was a fairly good stroke from Aaron Major. He had Ioane, Hunt, Mackay, and Collins all on the field. All of them are very capable of being good distributors of the ball. And that made them that made their attack very interesting to watch. They were very creative. So it certainly made it fun to watch if you were neutral. Obviously, if you're a Chiefs supporter, that was not fun because they were doing some fun things to watch.
Yeah, they were doing some fun things. Absolutely, a lot of fun to watch. And the Chiefs defense, their defensive lines were not good. They were coming up, they were peaking rather than coming up flat as a line. So like the exterior defense was like back at the line to gain, and it's like, no, you guys got to move up too.
Move
you got to launch
that way.
So it was like as soon and the Highlanders were like you said, they were passing that ball around. So they're like, all right, that's where that, you know, here's where the point of here's where you're setting the edge of the defense. We're just going to go right around it because you're telling us where it is. So they did well to attack the Chiefs weaknesses, but I will say the Chiefs tackled well. So even though they would kind of get a half line break, they'd still make the tackle, and ultimately it wouldn't really be too much of a gain. It would just you spread it from one side of the field to the other. But it was that unstructured play that really just
and that's what they were thriving off of for sure. I 100% agree.
But, but we haven't talked about offender number one here.
Fraser. And I the try withstanding that occurred and even the penalty that he gave later, I immediately, and I had not seen this match when I initially watched it. I didn't even know the result. Immediately I watched this last line out or the second to last line out that occurred between the two teams, and I thought, playing the man in the air for sure, and he let it go, and then this resulted in some weird penalty for a truck and trailer, which I wasn't sure about.
I don't even. Yeah, like the two ticky tack like calls that one took away a try and the other basically was like, yeah, if you can complete the small, it's a try.
The one that took away the Damien Mack try. Yeah, I was like, oh no, they're not going back to watch this, are they? And I was like, shit.
Even McKenzie was like, that was like 5 phases ago, and he's like, yeah, I don't care.
By the letter,
yeah, it's
like by the letter of the law, it's the same passage of play, and that sucks. But that felt like forever ago. So maybe there's a law tweak that can be had there where you can put a time limit on it.
Right. So it was, let's put it this way too. So we talked, there's the laws about the maul that changes when it's a kick in a kicking situation.
Right.
And in this case, it was a high ball that like just basically bounced around and went off a foot. I thought it was. Either it was no, it wasn't a knock on because it ended up being
a knee.
Yeah.
It was a knee and an accidental offsides called on Trask, I think.
And it's like, I'm sorry, but again, I still go back to my referee training because it applies here. It didn't have an impact on the play. Both teams after that had full right. Actually, the fucking Highlanders player was right there. He had first hands on it.
Yeah, he didn't gather it well.
And he didn't gather it. So it's like, okay, look, it didn't create an unfair situation. Both teams had access to it. We missed it in the initial run-up. So, okay. It just basically, that didn't affect the outcome of the sequence. So you're not, at some point, you got to be smarter than that and be like, that was, first off, that was like a minute ago. And second off, it's a minor offense. That doesn't change, it's not like without that happening, the Chiefs don't score or, the Chiefs, I'm sorry. It's like, even if he doesn't touch his ankle, it might actually be more likely that the Chiefs get it because their guy's running forward.
Yeah.
And the Highlanders guy was kind of standing there. It bounced basically right to him. He still didn't get it. So, I think at that point you got to be like, yeah, whatever. We should let it play. And then so you already have that ticky tackness, and then the ticky tack of it's fucking 10 seconds left.
I haven't seen truck and trailer called in a long time. I will say that.
And
it's been a long time.
To this, I won't go back and rewatch it because that pissed me off.
Attaboy. Too much. Such a shit call. That's a good idea. Don't go watch that.
I didn't see anything close to a truck and trailer, and I think it was somebody coming in from outside the mall or something. I don't know what the fuck it was, but it's like, you know what? Just the game's over. And you already shit on the Chiefs big time once. At some point, you just fucking let the players decide it because that doesn't change the outcome of that play. Same thing. You're mauling it. You're going to kick the touch. You're just wasting time. Okay, well then fuck it. Let them waste time and kick it to touch to end the match.
Yeah.
Like you had 10 seconds left and you had to insert yourself in a nothing play.
Yeah. It wasn't the best bit of refereeing on display in either match this weekend. I mean, the worst thing that happened to the Chiefs on the Damien Mack try is they didn't separate the passages of play. They could have had a penalty, a knock, something, and then still scored off of that. And I guarantee you, they probably still would have scored off that had we had 2 separate passages of play. But yeah, it's just it's one of those years, unfortunately, for the Chiefs where there's luck against them right now. Somewhere out there, the juju has been turned poorly against them. I don't know who did what to turn it that way. But it's how it is. The bad karma is out there somewhere, somehow. So whoever fucking did it, can you not do that so Ben doesn't keep doing this?
Hey, all I know is Lachlan Bosch here is worth the price of admission, so I'm okay.
Yeah, he's
for now.
Yeah, I mean,
he's good.
He's about a guy that probably needs to be an All Black one if there's a New Zealand team this year for sure.
So here's the question: as much as we talk about Shannon Frizzell. And this fucking stud that he is, we went this whole thing not talking about him at all till just now.
I know
he played 80.
He's very I mean, it's hard to ignore him. He's very good.
Yeah, and he didn't have a terrible match, but
no, I mean, he just got overshadowed.
Gosh, I mean that's one thing that impresses me. You got to when you have a matchup like that, that's you're the man. As far as you got a little bit of the hype, and you're currently the starting six. And Bashir comes and just steals your thunder from the opening whistle.
Yeah, all but.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Like Bashir definitely he deserves some consideration. Just
totally. He should be picked at the very least. He should be on the squad.
Yeah,
when they do that radio announcement for the next All Blacks team, Lachlan Bashir's name should be read.
He should.
That's all I know.
There's so many flankers there.
Yeah, there is, but
and
he's been informed.
One of the starters is your captain because he's the captain to them too. So it's like, okay, that cuts your opportunities down by one.
Right. Yeah, I mean you're gonna pick him. Obviously, Sam Cane's definitely a shoe-in. There's no way you don't call a guy, you don't name a guy the All Blacks captain and not pick him. It's just not how it goes. So yeah, he'll be in the spot for sure. Let's do some pick'em things. Dead draw for you and I last week. We both picked the same and went 2-2. Who knew? We got both New Zealand games wrong, I think.
Okay, yeah, likely. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, makes sense because we both tried to pick with our brains against the Hurricanes, and that worked out to my benefit at least in that aspect. And then I definitely thought the Chiefs were going to be able to win that, but just not to be. All right, well. Crusaders and Hurricanes, Super Rugby Aotearoa for this week. I'm going to continue to try and prick with my brain. If Lamape plays the way he did this past week, they have a shot. But
they do, but they need everyone else to play like Lamape played last week too.
And the one thing I will say is the Hurricanes have small issues closing out games, and they make them kind of squeaky bum time. Obviously, they did a good job of finishing this one off with a try. But that said, Crusaders are very good in that last 20 minutes of the game, and that is not the Hurricanes' forte. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the guys in red and go with the Crusaders, especially at home.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that as well. I think the Crusaders are they're a fucking machine, and they're getting nothing wrong, and the Hurricane, every other team is getting something wrong. So
yeah, Hurricanes have a few things wrong, I promise.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, it's just you have to be perfect to beat the Crusaders the way they're playing right now.
Correct.
And there's no other perfect team in that country or really the world right now. So
no, probably not to that level. Very few.
Yeah.
Over to Eden Park, Blues and the Chiefs. Is this 3 on the trot for the Blues, or is this more misery for the Chiefs?
Oh, the Blues are going to fucking blow them out.
Okay, so
I think it's going to be a little bit. The Blues are going to be a little bit salty about, and I think that at this point the Chiefs' mindset. I don't know what to do. Seeing the players that distraught after the match, there's that's to me just shows their lack of confidence. That one's gonna sting. They don't know how they had no idea how they lost that game, even though they should, because
there's a lot of people that don't know that answer right now too. So it's okay.
But it's like, I don't see them putting it together for this week. Even they can be mad all they want, but it's one of these like, there's teams that undergo something like that, and they just get refocused. They're like, all right, fuck that. That shit's never happening again. And then there's teams that are like, they're just angry about it, and they're going to come out. And, maybe the Blues are in for a really troublesome first 20 minutes of this match. So it's like, if they can weather that, and even if they can't, the first 20 minutes of this past match
was really good, and the Highlanders still found a way. Yeah,
it was 24-0 after 21 minutes. So obviously it doesn't really matter. The Chiefs will give it right back. So I just don't think they have the I don't think they have the defensive structure right now to do it. They've fallen into those old habits of just giving up gaps.
Yeah, and you got to believe that that Satutu is going to be back for this match, unless he's hurt
a little bit.
So I would say Satutu. You'll see Satutu, and he'll be back with the vengeance. Let's hop over the sea. Super Rugby AU. Waratahs and Rebels. Rebels after a week off. Waratahs coming off a really heartbreaking loss to the Brumbies. I'm going to go with the guys that are feeling pretty fresh, and they needed it. This team's on the road constantly right now because they're obviously not allowed back to Victoria while they're doing this. So I'm going to go with the Rebels. Hopefully some of these guys were able to get some of their family out of Victoria over the last couple of weeks, so they could maybe at least have that element of being home. So we'll see, but I'm going to go with the Rebels. Right. Like I said, if I had to pick a team in Australia, they would be my team.
And I'm going to go with the Taz in this one.
That's never failed for you,
right? Because I'm really only going with them because you went with the Rebels, and I want to create some sort of separation here.
You're trying to catch up here, yeah. Fair enough.
Because. Yeah, I think I know how we're both picking the next match, and and this is more of I don't know either way. Who there's pluses minuses both ways.
Oh, so
I'm just going to go with the team that you didn't pick.
Fair enough. That's not always a bad strategy. So we'll say that. All right. We're gonna have rugby in the Western part of Australia. Here we go. Force hosting the
Is this one only going to be a 70-minute match? Or,
I don't know. Maybe we can see if that'll stipulate.
Maybe we'll go to 75 as a happy medium.
It won't matter. Brumbies are going to take this one, unfortunately. I know the Force will probably put in another good shift, but
they certainly will.
This Brumbies team is too damn good.
They're too good, and the the Force team is just not. They're not ready yet.
Nope. No, they're not.
Unfortunately.
No, they're not. Oh, man. Okay. So we could have a bit of a gap for me, or we could be all tied back up again. Who knows? But until then, so thanks a lot for coming along, you guys. This is if you can't tell, Ben and I have a lot of fun with this. I hope you guys at least have one laugh or two at our expense. And
I did not have fun watching that Chiefs match.
We know this. This is not news. Somebody send Ben a present, please. Good God, I feel terrible for your wife. Good Lord. God love her.
I stayed in the back room for a good hour or so.
Smart decision on that one.
Stewing.
Smart decision on that one. Can't say that's the worst decision you've ever made.
I was supposed to watch I was going to watch the Taz Brumbies match right after that, and I was like, nope, fuck this, I'm out, I'm done. I'm not watching this shit anymore. I'm going to go drink 8 beers and
I'll have 8 beer. Oh man. Okay. So, thank you so much for riding along with us and having a laugh and listening to us piss and moan now and again. We'll be back next week. fantasyrugbypodcast@gmail.com if you want any questions answered or just want to have an idea for the podcast, whatever it is. We appreciate that. Tweet at Ben or I on Twitter. Find us on your podcast apps. Rate us, review us, all that good shit. Until next week, we will talk to you guys then. Have a good one, everybody. Cheers.
Later.